Ciao Bella, welcome to Bella Uncinetto. I'm Christina and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. No matter how long you've been here, I always appreciate your time. It is my birthday today. I can't sing, sorry. And I'm recording this on my actual birthday because it's been a really busy week. So last night, I had some friends over. Had some friends over, and we were outside, and my throat did not like that at all. So, forgive me if I am a little scratchy sounding. I feel fine, but I think the weather just was like, no, we're gonna not agree with everything that's happening. So it doesn't hurt or anything, but I do feel very scratchy. Like I can tell in my voice. But I am fine. So today is the last day of my week-long celebration. So if you have no idea what's going on and you're just seeing these videos every year from March 15th to March 22nd, I do a week-long celebration to honor my grandfather's birthday, which was March 15th, and my birthday, which is March 22nd. So I do something that whole week. This year, I have been coloring, which is why I have a pencil in my hand, from this book. This is a coloring book. It's a children's coloring book that I got here in Sicily on one of my travels to somewhere in Sicily. I don't remember where the book came from because it was originally my daughter's. And she was going to color in it, and then she didn't. So I, in cleaning out so many things in my house, came across this book and decided I'm going to use it for my celebration this year because there are 14 pages in this book, and I've colored, today will be the 8th one. Now, I did go through and talk about them all in the very first video, and I have been to many of these places. So at the end of each video that I've done so far this week, and in the description box of each video, is a link to a video that I've done about this place that I've colored, right? So that's been pretty fun to do, and it's been interesting to read your comments about things that you've shared in the videos, in the information that you've shared about the questions I've asked in the videos. And it's been fun to see some of the travels that you've been on and the things that you've shared, even if you've never been to Sicily, right? Because as someone put in one of their comments, history is everywhere if you just take the time to look for it, which is very true. So I have really enjoyed this experience with you all. The other part of this has been a giveaway. So every day starting March 16th until yesterday, March 21st, I have given a letter. And the letters you have to unscramble to make a word or phrase. And today is the day that I would like for you to put, if you know what it is, or if you think you know. I don't want you to put the word in the comments. I don't want you to put the phrase in the comments. If you think you know, if it's a word or a phrase, I don't want you to put what you think it is. I want you to put, I know, right? And then email me what you think it is. That way, no one else benefits from your hard work of watching these videos and listening to my stories and trying to unscramble things. And then I am going to do a list. So of all the people that email me, I'm going to do a list and if you email me the correct word or phrase, I'm going to put your name on a list. And then on the 25th of March, I know originally I said the 23rd, but somebody made a good point in that, giving people time to watch the video. Not everybody watches things on the day that it comes out, which is very true. So I was like, that's a really good point. I can take that feedback. So instead of doing the 23rd, the video for the winner will come out on March 25th. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on just 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I had to go get something to drink. Because I'm trying to talk and I can feel it fading. So I was like, let me go get something to drink. And then after I finish this video, I'm going to go make some hot tea with a little bit of lemon and honey. And that will definitely help. Now, where's the green I just had? Did it fall down? It did fall down. Okay, so on the giveaway, you can win either yarn that I curate from my stash, if you are into the fiber arts. And if you're not into the fiber arts, or if you just don't need any more yarn, I can do $25 US to your PayPal. So I am only going to do the list from the people that email me. So I don't want anyone to be upset if they commented on the videos and their name was not on the list. In order to get on the list for the giveaway, you have to email me, right? You have to email me the word or phrase that you think you've unscrambled from the letters that I've given. And only then, once you've gotten it correct, you can email me as many times as you want. If you think you figured it out, but I'm not going to acknowledge whether or not you've gotten it correct, right? So you can email me and you can tell me what you think it is, and then you'll know if you're correct if your name's on the list. I just think that that's a fair way to do it. I don't think that telling anyone, yeah, you've got it, yes, you're right, any of those things is a good idea. So, and that's a personal opinion, and that's just how I'm gonna do it. I'm open to feedback. I'm not saying I'm not gonna listen, but by the time I get the feedback, this particular giveaway will be over. So next time I can do it a different way if I get some good information, like with extending the deadline a little bit. And like I said before, I don't want to extend it too far because I don't want it to go too long, because my spring break is coming up and I just want to relax on my spring break. So, I mean, there will be content, don't get me wrong, but I do just want to relax. Okay, so the place that I'm going to talk to you about is Erice. Erice is, again, a place that I went to in the Trapani region of Sicily, and this is a hilltop town. So this town is way, 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 way up on the top of, not quite a mountain, but it is very, very high up. And we went, and it was a pretty nice day, and we could actually see the landform that was Tunisia, which is in Africa, which is amazing to me that we could actually see part of the landform, because that is just wild to be able to see that far. But it was a beautiful town full of so much history, and we did have a guide. This was where I first heard about the Elemi people, um, and that caused me to do all of my research. That's what started it, because when I was in Segesta, I didn't have a guide, right? Segesta was a video that I had done previously. I didn't have a guide in Segesta, but I did have a guide in Erice. So going and doing that town, that's where I learned the name of the people and how to say it. But um, the guide was very, very informative. I mean, she was passionate. She's from the area, which is important to me because they can show their thoughts and ideas of how things have changed and grown and adapted, but also the history matters to them. So sometimes you'll get a guide who is not from the area, and you can kind of tell that they're doing this as just their job, like it's not as significant to them as it is to someone who lives there. Not to say that they don't know what they're talking about, like I'm sure they've studied it and memorized their script and their information and all of that. And I'm not knocking it as a job. I'm definitely not. But I do think that someone who is from the area is definitely going to, well, is oftentimes going to care more. Because I have met some pretty passionate tour guides. Um, but I do think that oftentimes the people who are from the area are going to care more because they um, they've seen changes in the towns. They've seen the growth or the decline or all of those kinds of things. And Erice is a town, unfortunately, that is in decline because it's so high up and it's no longer the epicenter of like the business of the region. The city of Trapani is now the focus of the business part of the region, because if I remember correctly, Erice was like kind of the hub, and everybody would have to come and record their like records and those kinds of things there, like birth records and things. And it was part of like a different region. But then as other areas got more populated and the regions changed, Erice was like sort of absorbed into the Trapani region, because the way that it was explained is there were these mountains, and in between the mountains was one region, which Erice was included in that, and then everything outside of that was a different region. Now I could be remembering incorrectly, but it was something along those lines. And then over time, Erice, like people have been moving out because it's a not an easy city to navigate, especially when it comes to like vehicles. So it's a great town to walk around in, like, and you can easily walk the town itself. Like, it's not it's not a huge place, but it is very difficult for cars. So as things modernize and you have to like get deliveries via trucks and people are driving cars, there's just not room. And because of where it's situated as a town, there's not really room to expand it. So in the summertime, It's usually more populated, so more people have like summer homes there, and because maybe it was like a family home or something like that, and then they'll go down to Trapani during the winter time, things like that. That's kind of how it is where I live, also. In the region that I live in, there are a couple of towns that a lot of families have older family homes that maybe their grandparents had, and now they use them as summer homes or um, thing, not really. I was gonna say celebration homes, but it's not really like that. But it's like because they're bigger. There tends to be like a yard or something like that. So they'll have gatherings there, not necessarily parties per se, but they'll have gatherings, um, celebrations. There's a holiday, things like that. So Erice is one of those towns that is declining, unfortunately, and I feel bad because it's a beautiful place. Like there's so much history there. And in the video that I did on Erice, there were some places that I walked by where there was some beautiful weaving. And there's a specific pattern that is for Erice, which I talk about in the video. And it was really, I'm gonna keep saying it, but it was really amazing to see. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was really cool because that kind of history and that kind of information, it gets lost over time, you know? You don't know those things about those places and those people because there's no one there to tell the story. And that gets greater and greater with time. Like, there aren't people around to tell the story of these places from the past. And the more that we're not listening, the more stuff that goes away. Um, so if you're not taking the time to listen to the people around you that have this information, that have this history, it's gonna get lost. I very, um, I would listen very attentively when my grandparents would tell me about my family history. And my dad's side of the family, I know so much because I asked questions. I would listen when I got the answers. I wrote stuff down. And with my mom's side of the family, I know a little bit, but they don't even know, right? So when I go to ask my relatives, they don't even have the answers. So either they didn't ask the questions or they didn't listen when they were told this information. So it's really difficult to um, try and um, access that stuff. So if I wanted to try to find out something about my mom's side of the family in Italy, like it's really, really hard because they don't know. I know a little bit, and the rest I would actually have to pay someone to find out because nobody has the answers. And that makes me really, really sad. And not just for me as a person, but like to think about things that may still be around that you could go and see and be a part of. Like, for example, when I went to my dad's family's town, no, my family no longer owns that property that's there, but like I got to see it. I got to stand in front of it with my kids. And what if I hadn't known that and there wasn't someone there to show it to me and it got torn down or it got destroyed or whatever? And like the information about the the knife grinders and all of that from my family's town, to see that pathway and to know that it exists and to know that they honor them in that way. Like, I never would have seen that. I never would have known if I didn't ask those questions. And with this town declining the way that it is, right? I know it's not like my town to share, but I want people to know. I want people to be interested. I want people to think about going to visit when they go, because again, it's not a huge place. It's not something that's going to take you hours and hours and hours to go through, to walk around, to find out about. It would take you just a couple of hours. And I think it's so worth it. I think that it's a good place to go check out. And I think you'd get a lot out of it. Our tour guide actually was able to find a lady who was willing to let us into her space. Not her home necessarily, but like she had a courtyard. And we got to go in and see her home, like the courtyard and what it looked like. And she talked in Italian, but there were translators about the town and about how things have changed and about these nuns in the town that would have this bakery and how they worked with certain people and they always made these cakes at Easter, and how you could go by and you could knock on the door and they would open into this little courtyard and then you could just wait. And like all of that just seems so magical to me. Like, how is that not cool information? And I know that some people aren't really into history. I get that. But I don't know. It's so fascinating to me. And to know that this woman was the age that she was, and her sons and grandchildren were like getting onto her for like climbing ladders and things like that. But she's still spry and agile and quick-witted enough to do those things on her own, even though maybe physically she shouldn't be. According to them, she just has this air about her of like, no, this is the way it's done. This is the way I've always done it. This is tradition. And I need to take care of it. She was like, of course, if there's an electrical problem, I'll call the electrician. Of course, if there's a plumbing problem, I'll call the plumber. But like, to hang my own laundry, why can't I hang my own laundry? Why do I have to call someone to hang my own laundry? And it kind of made us all laugh. But when you think about the idea of that, when you think about the information, right? It was kind of important, like that she was um, comfortable enough to do those things on her own. And I felt really honored to be able to meet her and see her place and get to know a little bit more about the town itself from someone who still lives there. And she did talk a little bit about the decline of the town, but she was, va bene. That's life. That's just how things are. Um, she wasn't like sad about it necessarily, but she was like, I would hate to see the town completely disappear, which I get. I definitely get. So I'm going to show you my final picture. And I really, really appreciate you guys spending my birthday with me. I appreciate all of the feedback and the comments on the videos. I appreciate any time that you spend with me on my channel. And I am so grateful that I've been here for so long. It's going to be 5 years in June, everyone. 5 years on YouTube. That's crazy to me. So This is Erice, and I do urge you, if you have not seen the video that I did of Erice, to go and check it out. Because I talk about a lot more in that video. I don't want to repeat everything in this video, or you won't go watch the other one. And if you have seen it, go back and watch it again, right? Go back and let me know what you think now that I've shared some of my thoughts in this video, right? There is no letter for today, right? The letters went from Monday to Saturday. So in this video, in the comments, right? I mean, please feel free to share any of your thoughts about the video. But if you think you know the word or phrase, just put "I know" in the comments and then email me. My email is listed in my link tree, which is in the description box. And if you are correct, I will put your name on a list and we will go from there. So the winner again will be announced on March 25th, which is Wednesday. And until I see you again, be well, be safe. Be the change you wish to see in the world, everyone. Ciao bella!